Hi, I'm Ajay Banerjee, Deputy Editor of the Tribune in New Delhi. The Indian Air Force is now facing a problem of spares for its Russian origin fleet. Now, because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict stretching for almost 3.5, 4 years now, the Indian Air Force has almost 60 to 70% of its inventory of Russian origin, which includes fighter jets, helicopters, transport planes, and including the Airborne Early Warning System or the AWACS. Now, the Indian Air Force, in collaboration with the Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers, or the SIDM, today released the compendium of what it called a problem statement. A problem statement is basically a list of documents or a list of specifications which the IAF seeks for the industry to step in and make it indigenously. Now, this statement has 3 very critical points. That is why this program is coming up. The statement made it very clear, and I quote, that the Russia-Ukraine conflict has disrupted traditional military logistics and has prompted the IAF to rethink its maintenance doctrines. Now, this doctrine also means that new changes will be coming up. It specifically focuses on Russia, and I will again quote from the document which was released today morning by Indian Air Force Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh and the President of the SIDM, Arun Ramchandani. And I quote here, the document says, the heaviest focus should remain on sustaining Sukhoi-30 MKI and the MiG-29 fleets. Both the fleets are of Russian origin. Both are frontline fighters. Indian Air Force flies around 340 of these fighter jets. That is more than half the fleet. There are around 270 Sukhois and around 70 MiG-29s. Also, in addition, separate from this totally, the Indian Navy also flies a marine version of the MiG-29 called the MiG-29K. Another 42 jets of that are also available and flying in India. Now, going back to what has actually happened. The document says, released today, as I told you at the start of the program, will focus on replacing Russian avionics with indigenous system, the radar, and also integrate Indian weapons like the Astra air-to-air missile. We all know the IAF and the HAL have worked together to modify the Sukhoi to carry the BrahMos missile, which was used very effectively during Operation Sindoor against Pakistan in May last year. Now, this program is about getting spares for the Sukhois and the MiG-29s. Now, this compendium of problems is not just for Sukhois and the MiG-29s. It also includes around 70 odd things which the IAF is seeking from the private domestic industry, which includes the spares for helicopters and including some parts of the Rafale fighter jets procured from France and also the Apache helicopter procured from US. Now, this does not mean the spares from France or US are the supply line is broken. It is to indigenize these spares in India, reduce the cost and have more reliability in the supply chains. In case of France and Russian equipment. In case of in case of French and US equipment. In case of the Russian equipment, the IAF focus is on trying to meet a supply chain because the supply chain is, as I told you, is disrupted. This supply chain disruption has led to a shortage of spares. Now, the IAF has also come up with a new thing. It is called, calls the private industry to its base report depots and starts off work. The private industry works with the IAF at the same base repair depots. IAF has around half a dozen of those base repair depots, or BRD as they are called in the IAF language. These base report depots do maintenance and repair of various fleets, and these are separate for each of the fleet, like the BRD, one BRD will be doing for air fighter jets, one will be doing for helicopters, one will be doing for transports, and so on and so forth. So these are located all across the country, including one in Chandigarh. I will now bring out what exactly this thing means. Now, also the compendium of problems released today is talking about how aero engines and avionics and electronic warfare systems remain on high criticality. These choke points have, the supply lane choke points have come about because of the conflict going on. Now, the IAF's major change in this thing is a plant-in-plant concept. This plant-in concept means an industry partner under this model works under the BRDs, as I told you a while ago. The IAF has already established nodal technology centers at various BRDs. They collaborate with the IITs and the DRDOs and the DRDO. Now, the point is that when the private industry comes in, they will be at the BRD, the workshop of the IAF, and work with the IAF in real time to say make drones or to say work on an engine or to work on a metallurgical part. It will be basically housing or using the facilities of the Indian Air Force BRDs to allow the private industry to bring out its enterprise and speed up the supply chains for various IAF jets, planes, helicopters. To bring it in context, IAF probably has the biggest amount of foreign equipment and flying because the Navy and the Army have less of technology dependence. Navy is indigenized a long way ago and started, and now the latest ships coming up have around 80 to 85% of indigenization, including Indian steel. For the past 20 years, this has happened in the Navy. They're bringing out their own warships. So in case of the IAF, we are still struggling with the Tejas Mark 1A yet to come out. Its engine is imported, its EW warfare is imported so far, its radar is imported so far. All this has to change in the future, and IF today with the SIDM produce this compendium of problems. It is actually telling the industry that these are the things we want, and the industry has to come forward and to do it and not crib about saying that this is not available, this is not available. IF has given a kind of ready reckoner to the industry to work about it. We will keep on updating the story, which means Tribune photographer Mukesh Agrawal.